Good evening and welcome to your last instalment of the State of Scottish Football tonight on Tuesday, the 1st of February. It's full time and all the action around the Cinch Premiership. The game that myself and Mike were watching has just finished. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. Mike, I'll come to you first. What was your take on that result? Game of two halves.
Yeah, it's an old saying, a game of two halves. I thought Hearts were the better team in the second half. They fell out in a wee bit in the last 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I thought Sims had two brilliant chances to make the difference for Hearts tonight, but it wasn't to be. But, I mean, it's a 0-0 game, but I thought it was very, maybe not for you, but I thought it was a very kind of entertaining game.
Entertaining to watch. It was 0-0 here. Obviously, we'll dissect it a bit more. Hopefully, third time lucky. Hopefully, stays for the whole show. We have our man at Dens Park. Dave, you were at Dundee United. How's that finished?
Yeah, apologies if you can't hear me, by the way. It's quite a bit noisy over there. But yeah, I thought Dundee were a better side. And goal stops a fair result from a United persuasion. But good derby to watch. Just a pity we couldn't get that goal. But I mean, United started the game okay. They got the front foot towards the end. Nicky Clark missed a terrific chance from 5 yards out with about 4 minutes to go. If anybody was going to go and score over the piece, it was Dundee. But United missed that massive chance through Nicky Clark. But in terms of the whole 90 minutes, I think the point's a fair result.
Good stuff. We'll go on mute as the Dundee fans are singing, protesting, or maybe trying to rival Italian gangs. You're obviously with our own Don Corleone at Dens Park. But other score results to tell you from tonight. Ross County 1, Aberdeen 1. It was Johnny Hayes had given Aberdeen a lead. I know that from our Aberdeen colleagues in the chat. We're quite delighted with that. But then Ross Callaghan levels for Ross County. Man of the match from the weekend of that 3-3 draw against Rangers, in my opinion. Other result, not a good night for our own Jenna Thompson. As a Motherwell supporter, it finished St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0. And it was a man Hibs wish could have scored tonight. It was Alex Gogic scored in his debut to make it 1-0 to St Mirren. And last result in the Cinch Premiership, possibly the upset of the evening, it was Livingston 1, St Johnstone 2. It was Callum Hendry opened the scoring for the Saints before Bruce Anderson, that man again, equalising for St Livingston. Joel Nubley was sent off after 2 elbows in the game, which maybe swung the pendulum in the favour of St Johnstone, with Ali Crawford getting a late winner in that game. So goals in the games that we weren't watching between us three here watching the Hibs Hearts game and the game at Dens Park. But we will start with Hibs Hearts for the moment. So obviously, Graham, you've came on from a maroon persuasion. What was your view? Sorry, St Mirren 1-1, Motherwell. Apologies. I'm just going off the BBC website. It was 1-1. You're right. Ross Tierney did score a late equaliser. That is correct. Sorry. Refresh now. Apologies. Thanks, Yusuf, for correcting me there. We're alive as always, so we can be slightly behind the news as it updates on social media and the internet. But coming back to Easter Road, what was your thoughts on that second half then, Graham?
Michael said at half time Hearts might be a second half team, and he was right. I thought second half Hearts were the far better side. You know, Ellis Sims, who hadn't really done enough in the first half, was far, far better second half. I thought Liam Boyce dropping a bit deeper actually helped. He was picking up the ball in space. I said again before the game, Barry Mackay has that ability to pick a pass out, and he picked things out second half. Fair play to Dubrovsky. He's made a really good save. And actually, Dubrovsky got man of the match, I think. He made some really good saves second half when he was barely tested first half. I think we've got more control in the midfield. I think Bennett started to get control. Devlin started to get control, and Hibs didn't really offer a lot. Again, I don't think until that clearance off the line by Civic in the last minute that Hibs had a shot on target. I think it would have been pretty much at Hearts if Hibs had gone up the park and scored with their only chance. But I think second half, far, far better. I wish we'd have started the first half like that. I think I don't think the changes really made a massive difference. I don't think Ginelli did enough. I don't think Woodburn did enough. But on balance of play second half, I think Hearts probably just about deserved to sneak that. But I will say, having seen it again, I think with that indirect free kick, I think Stevenson's very lucky not to give away a penalty.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of chat on, again, coming in through text and social media and whatnot, and I'm sure trial by Sky Sports will soon, the court will soon be in session, of course, in the next few minutes as well, so I'm sure there'll be more comments on that one there. But I think it's kind of a total kind of reversal in terms of fortunes for the second half. I think Hearts kind of started on the front foot. The second half, I think you said, Mike, we were kind of speaking off air that Barry Mackay had an early chance as well, which kind of swung the pendulum in the favour of Hearts. Again, Barry Mackay's had a free kick as well, which in 49 minutes hasn't came to any danger. Obviously, Atkinson's had a cross as well just soon after that as well, which there's no takers. Few meaty challenges, but obviously the first one, 51 minutes, Ellis Sims with that chance, but that big save by Dabrowski. And we were speaking before, Mike, saying how would a young man cope on before the game, but how were you impressed with Dabrowski over the whole game, I suppose, or the second half especially?
Yeah, I think before the game it was going to make him or break him, and I thought it made him actually. He had a good game. Poole got some brilliant saves as well. So yeah, I mean all in all, but I think he's a good kick on now, because that's in the rivals, as it were, the neighbours. So but I think he should be pleased with his performance tonight.
Yeah, it was a man that I suppose came into it late. Again, currently an injury out for Matt Macy. Seemingly, Sean Maloney was saying before the game, has not played in over a year. His last game was in the Scottish third tier. He conceded 4 against Forfar when he was in goals for Dumbarton. So it's a better 90 minutes than he did that day, that's for sure. But in terms of the second half, Graham, we said we expected Niels to change it. He didn't change it at half time. It was the same personnel. Do you think he put a rock up them? Do you think the players just kind of wanted to respond? Do you think what do you think kind of sparked the difference in the first half performance to the second half? Because we've seen that quite a few times from Hearts, that they've kind of been a bit like a Jekyll and Hyde performance over halves in games this season.
We've seen this far too many times from Hearts recently. I think I've said numerous times before on other podcasts and stuff that I don't think I've actually seen Hearts play a 90-minute performance yet this season. It's been very much half each. We don't seem to put two performances together. I don't know why that is. I hope that Robbie did put a rocket up them at half time, because they came out far better second half. I don't know what the issue is. As I say, I think first half Hibs were up for it. I knew they would be. I think second half we played the game and not the occasion. We kind of stifled Hibs a little bit and put more pressure on them. As I say, first half Dabrowski had nothing to do. And second half he was tested far more. I just think there needs to be something said before these games. Robbie needs to get a rocket in before the games as opposed to half time, because we could have gone in half time 1-0 down. It was a much, much better second half. That was what I hoped for and what I expected. I think if you're a Hibs fan, you'll be disappointed in Kevin Nisbet, because again, I thought he was very, very poor. He seems for some reason reluctant to shoot. There's a couple of times in that second half.
His left foot.
Yeah. He seems reluctant to shoot, whether it's lack of confidence, I don't know. But you need a striker that's going to have a shot, and he wasn't doing that. I never felt whenever he got the ball in that area, he was going to be a threat, because he wasn't taking a shot. So I think for Hibs, I think they performed well. I think a lot of folk thought they would get hammered. But I think for Sean Maloney, I think they can be pleased with that. Take the point, move on to next week, because they were far better than I think people thought they would be. But they need to be, Kevin Nisbet needs to be a lot better than that, because I thought he was very poor tonight for them.
Yeah, they did have. We said in the first helping of State Scottish football. If you've not watched it, please watch it back. We did say that Hibs had got in Pat Stanton and Paul Kane at the Hibs training ground this morning to kind of G them up. Mixu Patalainen was on the on the pitch before the kick-off as well. Do you think Mixu Patalainen needs to maybe give some words of encouragement to Kevin Nisbet? Again, as a striker, you've seen your fair share of them at Celtic Park, Mike. Do you think potentially needs to give a bit more? Kevin Nisbet needs to, what's going wrong for Kevin Nisbet?
I think Mixu Patalainen should go into the training ground yesterday, like Pat Stanton, and just stand there. But no, listen, I mean, he's a different player now, isn't he? A couple of weeks ago, maybe even before the winter break. But I think players like that actually go through wee spells, like a wee dipping for him. A bit like what we say about different teams in the Premiership as well. But I don't know whether it's confidence or, I mean, if you can't get up from an Edinburgh derby, let's face it, what can you get up for? Because that's like the biggest game outside of Rangers and Celtic at Easter Road or Ibrox or Parkhead. So I think it's maybe just got confidence in that he's lacking a bit of confidence as well. But no, I'm sure that he'll be back on form soon.
Yeah, I think in terms of for his own sake as well. I thought tonight him and Doidge worked well that first half. I think second half they just never got going at all. Kevin Graham's posting Nisbet looks poor for weeks. I think that Cove goal in the cup kind of masked his deficiencies as a striker. I think he does need support up there. He's not a lone striker in the Sean Maloney 3-4-3 formation. I think he done well. The surprising move I thought as well is I know Sean Maloney's had a lot of criticism from Hibs quarters as well, which I've enjoyed reading. I'm not going to lie. He's had some criticism for his tactic substitutions. He took off Muller, who I thought had a promising first half, to then bring on Dre Wright. I know then Hibs had Newell injured as well, who then brought in Josh Campbell, who I thought done okay as well. And I think obviously later on in the match, Ewan Henderson came on for Doidge, which I don't think Hibs got going in that second half with their changes. I'll come to you as a jam. Well, I'll put you under the pressure then. I'll not come to Dave because obviously he's not been watching the match. But do you think Sean Maloney got his subs right? Do you think it impacted the game and swung the pendulum back in Hibs' favour at any point?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think Hearts had controlled the majority of the second half. I think we for the last maybe 5-10 minutes, I think Hibs came into the game a little bit more. That chance right at the last minute where Sibic clears the ball off the line. Fantastic bit of defending. But that's about as much as Hibs really had. I mean, Dre Wright, every time I've seen him, I've not been that impressed with him. I think the lad Ewan Henderson, he looked okay when he came on. I think Demi Mitchell caused problems on the left-hand side. But again, there was a couple of times he maybe could have been a bit more positive and driven forward, but he tried to put the cross in early, it didn't really work. I just think Hearts' second half seemed to have a bit more control of the game. And as I say, Ellis Sims could have ended up with a hat-trick in the second half with the chances he had. I think I was kind of about harsh on him in one of the chances. I think just after the second started, I think Barry Mackay plays him through, and I kind of thought he might have been able to dink it over him, but maybe that was a bit harsh. But listen, it's another 0-0 draw, but I don't think it's not the worst derby I've seen. I've seen a few folks saying it was a poor game. I don't think it was the worst game I've seen. I've seen a lot worse than that. I think both teams, commitment-wise, absolutely brilliant. I think both teams gave it everything. And if you're a Hibs fan, I think you'll be delighted with that. The application they showed, the commitment they showed, there was a desire there maybe they haven't shown recently. I think there's no doubt a draw was probably a fair result, but I think if you look at the Hearts' chances, we maybe could have edged it.
Yeah.
I think what I was just going to say there, just quickly, Greg, was two derbies finished 0-0, and you say, well, there's not a lot of chances in the games, but I thought it was kind of end-to-end in both games, and I would say this, it's a good aggregate for Scottish football.
Yeah, I mean it's refreshing. Obviously, you're going on a neutral lens as well, which is always interesting to see because I think when you are supporting one of the teams in it, you can be kind of biased or you can kind of play down or be overcritical. But it's kind of interesting. You've kind of enjoyed both derbies. We've had a couple of comments coming in. We've got our own Celtic State of Mind's Kevin Graham at Celtic Park a few weeks back. Maloney took the momentum away from his side by making 4 subs at once. It was bizarre. I think as well, you'd even said there that Devin Mitchell came on at half time. I forgot about that. I mentioned the half time bulletin, but I thought Nathaniel Atkinson was apart from his delivery in terms of a kind of cross ball, which wasn't a low cross. I thought he was excellent, and I think he kind of marshaled kind of Doig the last 20 minutes of the first half, and I think he kept Devin Mitchell kind of at arm's length a little bit in that second half. But Hearts' subs as well. Again, you had said about Barry Mackay, Boyce, they both came off. I think as well, obviously, towards the end. Andy Halliday came off. He lasted till 68 minutes longer than I think all 3 of us predicted for Cochrane. Ben Woodburn came on. And obviously, towards the end, we had, obviously, Boyce off for Ginnelly. And we also had that late sub as well for Peter Haring on for Devlin. I don't think the Hearts subs were too great either, in all honesty. I don't think it was anything kind of game-changing, game-defining either way, so I think both subs. But we'll kind of finish up because obviously I want to get to the end part to our man there in a second. But, I mean, in terms of the obviously, it was a bizarre moment where Rocky Bashiri and Dabrowski at the 85th minute where there was lack of communication. You get that when you've got a centre-back who's new to the team, new to the league. You've then also got a goalkeeper that's not usually in, and almost a kind of a back pass there. And obviously that free kick, where a lot of social media is saying that potentially it should have been a penalty following Cochrane's free kick, which kind of came off Stevenson. I'll come to you first, Graham, because you're a jam. Let's see your take on it. Do you think it was a penalty?
I think it's either, again, I think it is, I've seen people say, what else can he do? It's quite close to him, but I think his hands are up. It is a penalty. But, I mean, I saw Hearts get an indirect free kick against Motherwell, and we were never going to score it. When we got the indirect free kick again today, I thought, we're not scoring this either. I very rarely see anyone score from indirect free kicks. I think John Robertson was right. You've got to move it to the side. Ellis Sims is standing there with a chance to shoot. But instead, Stephen Kingsley takes a shot, and I knew he was never going to score. But I think, again, it's one of these I've seen them given. And I think if VR's in play, it could easily be given. But I think, again, Hibs got away with one there. And I think they got away with one in the first half as well. So, it's one of these things. We move on, but
be interesting to hear Nielsen's post-match comments as well, because he did get booked in it. Finally, just last comment on that as well. Come to yourself, Mike, in terms of that chance. Did you think it was a handball, and also the Civic clearance line? Because I know you were impressed as well. I think you said it was quite an important moment.
Yeah, I would say it was a penalty, but again, it's like, we can speak about these incidents for another half an hour or another 2 nights, but until we get VAR and Scottish football, and that's a different podcast altogether, VAR, because I know that Graham's got a few assists with that, and I have as well. But yeah, it was a kind of like definite penalty, because I mean the rest only get one rookie hit, whereas we've got about 10 replays of it as well. And obviously, if you're a Hearts fan, you would be calling for a penalty as well, So yeah.
Yeah. Yusuf said Maloney's learning on the job, which, kind of, 6-7 games in, he certainly has been. Someone's learning on the job is our man at Dens Park. I think he's learned to get the Wi-Fi. I think he's spoke nicely to maybe the media officer at Dens Park. You've been waiting patiently there. So take it away. Talk us through this pulsating 0-0 City Discovery derby.
Well, before I start, I must say that the Dundee media officer tonight was the kit man. He was nowhere near the stands. He was actually the kit man. I don't know where they've got a kit lady at Dundee. I don't know where she was tonight, but Tommy was on the touchline as the kit man tonight. So there we go. That's why we're sorted right this minute. But no, you can hear me very well. The only guys you can probably hear just now is the written media. But no, going on to the game. For Satan 0-0 draw. As I touched upon earlier on, if anybody was going to go and score, it was United. Dundee had the better impetus, the more ascendancy on the game. They had the big chances. I mean, like I said, McCowan when he came on, McGinn at the start, Charlie Adam, I thought had a terrific game. He might have been a little bit lucky not to have been sent off from a Dundee persuasion. If anybody was going to go and win the game, it was Dundee United. I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed with how Dundee United's attacking free set up to an extent. I mean, like Tony Watt, Nicky Clark, and McNulty could have been a little bit better. The standards could have been better, but over the piece, 0-0. Pulsating derby, terrific atmosphere. I think the atmosphere was the highlight of the night, and overall, good result for both sides. Although for Dundee, they're obviously near the bottom of the league. They're obviously bottom of the league now, sorry, because St Johnstone obviously scored against Livingston. So Dundee will have to go and rectify a few things moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, you're saying Dundee finish or finish in the evening bottom on goal difference. You kind of came as before we went live, and it's kind of almost sounded like the Dundee fans were unhappy. What was the mood like at full time?
I think it was more United, to be honest with you. I was right beside where the United fan base was, Craig, and the United fan base was really getting agitated with just with United style of play. The Dundee fans, they weren't too bothered, being honest. Obviously, they were a little bit agitated and frustrated, Greg, that they got a draw when they had enough chances to go pick up all three, being honest. But in the other token, they were clapping all evening. They brought an atmosphere that maybe wasn't there before. There's been a lot of negativity around Dundee in recent times, especially externally with things that have happened. But I think Dundee can be very proud of what they brought to the game tonight. They brought a lot of composure, a lot of credit, a lot of calmness to this derby, but also they brought a lot of attacking ascendancy as well, and they very much played their part. And I touched upon this privately to you guys earlier on tonight. If they had a fit and firing Lee Griffiths, a man that was doing bits and bobs, I think Dundee would have won that game tonight. So massive disappointment there. Zach Rudden, I thought, did well when he came on. But yeah, in terms of this game, draw was a fair result.
Good. We had some comments. Got Strange Love, who is a regular commenter, Strange Love the Doctor. Schedule fatigues are starting to kick in the smaller squads as well. You can maybe see from some of the results. Was there any fatigue in the game? I think it was some fatigue in some of the Hearts and Hibs players towards the end of the Edinburgh derby. I think it was fair to say, like Sabine Beningame, I think as well Kevin Nisbet was on his feet, amongst a few others. Was there any tired legs in the squads, or was it a derby that was kind of end to end and just sort of petered out?
Yeah, it was a derby played with adrenaline, Greg. I mean, it was a game played good spirits by both sides. Obviously, if there was any niggles there, I thought that players were getting taken off because there was a fair few subs in this game, probably more in terms of an attacking scale. But yeah, in terms of everything else, everything was played to a good manner, a good standard, and obviously a lot of good positive play from both sides, and adrenaline there from start to finish. And I'm actually just glad that I'm on here right now, because I'm just listening to what Tam Coates is saying, and there's hundreds of written press down there, and I think I'd have been sandwiched had I been down there right now. So I'm delighted I'm on with you guys.
Yeah, no, of course you can send Tam and James and the rest of the Dundee United. I don't want to do a Akincola mishap and kind of call Dundee United Dundee. But obviously Dundee are bottom following that result by St Johnstone winning 2-1 at Livingston. Obviously we're kind of going off results. We're kind of going off scorelines. I'm going to ask this as an open question there. In terms of Dundee, does that add any pressure now? Is this, obviously St Johnstone have got the win away from home at a tough Tony Macaroni Stadium, where we've seen Hearts, Celtic, Rangers, Hibs all struggle, Aberdeen recent times, even other teams go there and struggle. So how big a win is that for St Johnstone? And two, how big a kind of result is that for Dundee? Kind of knowing that they're now bottom.
Yeah, massively, first and foremost for St Johnstone. I mean, there's a long way to go in this league season. I mean, Dundee United travelled to McDermott Park on Saturday, and Dundee United have hit a bit of a reignitement about themselves, considering the one last week and a good draw here tonight, obviously. And they obviously played considerably well at Celtic Park on Saturday. But as for Dundee, they obviously have been under pressure for a long time now. 5-0 when they could beat 5-0 by Ross County. That could have been the end for James McPake, but the Dundee board have stood by him and done very well in that regard. Yeah, James McPake could do a little bit more with his Dundee squad. He was left very frustrated in the transfer market, but overall, when you look at the overall stance of things, James McPake is the right man for the Dundee job, and he's Dundee Football Club through and through. So there's nobody better right now to go and take this Dundee job. Jack Ross at a push, but with Jack Ross go to Dens Park, that's the $1 million question.
Dave, we know you're at Dens Park and we know that they're your captors and they're treating you well, and James McPake is the right man for the job. Of course, you're going to say all that on the show. Kevin Graham's, again, is commenting, it's a massive last-minute winner for St Johnstone. This could be a season changer. Mike, do you agree with that? This could be a pivotal moment in the race to stay up.
Yeah, but as Dave was saying, the long way could go. Everybody kind of wrote, including myself tonight, wrote St Johnstone off, and I put Livingston down to win 2-0. What Gano, it's a massive win for St Johnstone, because, as you say, teams lights of they've took 4 points over Celtic coming away this season as well, and Celtic went there and bearing in the ring, Celtic were the better team for half an hour, and then after that, they just fell apart. So, yeah, it's a massive win for St Johnstone and a massive win for Callum Davison. Be interested to see if they can carry on now on to Saturday's game as well. And, you were asking about Dundee. Yeah, I think Dundee would be annoyed, especially to beat your nearest rivals. But obviously, especially at home as well, you would like to see Dundee taking the advantage. But yeah, it's going to be a struggle for Dundee if they don't start picking up points very quickly.
Yeah. Graham, your thought on this? Is there a battle now? Is St Johnstone now give themselves, in fact, who's favourites to go down in your eyes?
100%. They're giving this a chance. That's a massive win today. I think that's the result they needed. They had to get results somewhere after the poor run they've been on. And Callum Davidson, as bizarre as it sounds because of what they did last season, has been under pressure. We know they've lost a couple of really big players. That is a huge win for them today. But they've got to build on that, as Michael said. They played Dundee United on Saturday at home. They have to then go and win that game and then win the next one. If they can get a run going, you never know what can happen. But as for Dundee, I think it'd be disappointing not to pick up the 3 points at home. But they've got away with that with a point. Will they be disappointed? Probably, but at least it's not a defeat. I think at the moment, I would still have to say that I think St Johnstone are probably still, for me, the favourites to go down. I know they've won today, but they need to build on that. But I still think that they look for me the ones in major trouble.
I think Dundee, for me, the next 3 games are season defining. So they're playing Ross County. If you recall, in the same fixture earlier in the season, Ross County won 5-0 at Dens Park. So there's a massive hoodoo to get that off their back. They then travel to Tynecastle, where, again, it's not necessarily a guaranteed or anything. It's going to be a hard game, of course, at Tynecastle, but we've seen tonight that Hearts don't always play for 90 minutes, so there could be an opportunity there. And then they've got that Scottish Cup tie away to Peterhead on the Monday night televised game. 3 massive games for Dundee, which could define their season, although St Johnstone don't have that Scottish Cup to worry about after being knocked out. But other results tonight, of course, we did have the draw up at Dale. Ross County won, Aberdeen won. Thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, another I was going to say another good point for Ross County, but another good point for Aberdeen, because then they go the points that they can get at the moment as well. Obviously, I was saying before the game that it's going to be a cricket game for Aberdeen going up there to that tight park. But but yeah, well done for Aberdeen for getting the point, and it's been a good week so far for Ross County.
Yeah, definitely. Well, last couple of minutes, we'll kind of finish on St Mirren 1, Motherwell 1, Graham. I think we all predicted a draw for this one as well, didn't we?
A prediction that actually came true. There's a surprise. It's probably a better result for Motherwell being away from home, to be honest. I think against St Mirren, I'll be disappointed not to win that game. But again, it's a point rather than losing 3 points. But again, it's a last-minute goal from Motherwell, so they'll be delighted with that. Again, can they build on that? We'll have to wait and see. But no, fair play. Another draw. I'm delighted I've actually got something right tonight.
Well, we'll end on a positive note. So again, thank you to everyone that's been tuning in over the course of this evening to the 3 shows. Obviously, we've had the 4 of us. Obviously, Dave is obviously organising something in Dens Park, or I think it's where he said that his cats are treating him well at Dens Park. Something may have happened. It's like when we talked about his pie. He tried it and then he went away. So I think there's maybe strange going on at Dens Park. Tune in tomorrow. I'd like to say we're going to delve into these games a bit more, but the likelihood is it's going to be battle fever in the Glasgow derby with Celtic Rangers. So I dare say we're going to delve into that in a lot more detail. But thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow.